Of course, ICE is always the problem and illegals are always the victim. And now ICE agents are being ambushed inside of hospitals, medical centers, and all. Protesters are getting violent. Democrats, they're fuming right now. But here's the twist. It's not just chaos. It's a cover-up. I'm sure you are.
I'm telling you all right fucking now. Be forceful with ICE agents. If you're around them and you see them strutting their stuff, doing shit.
You mean doing their job?
And start being forceful. I'm sick. I just really hate ICE. I think we can all agree on this. I think the majority, either the majority of people do feel like this, or I think the majority of people should feel like this. This is fucking disgusting. I fucking hate America for this. And I fucking hate America, like, all the time anyway. But this specifically.
So he hates ICE, the people who actually enforce our border laws, work to keep our citizens safe from criminals from other countries, work to make sure that our systems are not overwhelmed by unfettered immigration, which would then ruin the quality of our lives daily. No, let's get rid of ICE and let anyone in the country. Anyone can come and they can stay as long as they want. We might as well just let the whole world in. Like, this mindset is so stupid. I hate America for having immigration laws and actually enforcing those laws. How dare they make people come in the legal way? How dare America stop their infrastructure from being overwhelmed by unfettered immigration? The audacity of America to do such a thing. This video screams privilege, and I don't understand how privileged and lucky I am to actually be an American. It's like the kid complaining that his dad got him a new BMW and not a Bentley. It's just so out of touch with reality. So many of them say they hate America, but the vast majority of them will not move out of America. And they hate America, but there's no other country on the planet that has more opportunity than America. There's no other country on the planet that exports more opportunity than America. There's no other country that defends your right to speak more than America. There's no other country that actually allows you to have arms more than America does, so you can actually defend yourself from government overreach. There's no country that gives more to charity than America. There's very likely no other country that contributes more to global peace than America does. The US is the leading country for international migrants for a reason. There are many countries that do not have the institutional stability that we have here. It's underappreciated. And it's quite literally the foundation this country's been built upon. The same way a spoiled child gets pissed because they got a BMW instead of a Bentley is the same way many of these Americans act because they've never really seen real struggle, or they don't have a real understanding of what real struggle looks like. They don't understand how lucky they were to be born here. In simple terms, they're a bunch of entitled brats who need a reality check.
They keep trying to frame it as a protest, but that's incitement. And the wildest part is that's the energy being encouraged in Democrat cities. You're watching a generation raised to hate the same country that gave them the right to say this type of garbage out loud, if I'm being honest. And the left's been feeding it hand over fist. I mean, through schools, through media, and policy. But that wasn't just talk online. That mindset that you just heard, or seen displayed rather, that mindset just walked into the surgical center.
Let him go. Hey, let go.
Get out. Coming into private business like this, it's a private business.
You are not a federal agent to begin with.
I'm not touching you.
Identify yourself.
ICE tried to make a lawful arrest, but instead of helping de-escalate, the staff got physical, screaming, pushing, blocking federal officers. Well, a federal officer. Oh, wait. They don't care about law. They care about optics. And this was the perfect moment to play victim of America while aiding a criminal. And if you think this was just one isolated outburst, nope. The anti-ICE hysteria has gone mainstream.
I'm being detained. I was following ICE and I was honking. That is the crime. I'm being detained. I was following ICE and I was honking. That is my crime. Police showed up and pointed 3 guns at me. They were ready to shoot me.
Oh,
I'm
that
being
boy
detained.
learned
I was following
about FAFO today. He followed ICE and got guns pulled on him. I mean, what do they know what's going on in that vehicle? And why you telling them? Now, I don't co-sign unnecessary escalation by any side, but let's get something straight. You can't antagonize federal agents and play dumb when it blows back. You can't. Democrats' rhetoric has pushed people to treat ICE like the enemy, and now people are getting bold and getting burned in the process. But here's where the real blood is on their hands in this next clip. This is what happens when Democrat sheriffs refuse to work with ICE.
Court documents state on July 2nd, a woman was walking home along the Beeline Trail. A bystander called police after hearing a woman scream for help. Police responded, and near 10th and Rogers Street, officers said they found the woman and the bystander holding 39-year-old Manuel Lopez. The victim told police Lopez ran up to her from behind, tackled her, and tried to assault her. It stopped when the bystander came to help, reportedly beating Lopez with a wooden cane. Lopez was arrested after the alleged assault, but wasn't officially charged until Tuesday. He's now charged with attempted rape, criminal confinement, and battery resulting in bodily injury. The charges come just months after Lopez took a plea deal for a similar attempted rape case from last July. He was accused of following a woman on a sidewalk before tackling her and allegedly sexually assaulting her. Court documents state on July 2nd, a woman was walking home.
So, an illegal immigrant already charged with rape was released because the sheriff refused to honor ICE's detainer. Let that sink in for a moment, y'all. The system had him. ICE asked to hold him, and Democrats said no. Now, a woman was nearly assaulted again because cooperating with ICE didn't fit their narratives. How many lives have to be destroyed before they admit sanctuary policies are a failure? And speaking of failure, let me show you who else they let in under Biden. Watch this.
Suspect's name, Melvin Varela Perez. He's been wanted for 5 murders and is considered a high-ranking member of the gang. But even though he's been on El Salvador's 100 most wanted list since 2016, he crossed the border and was released into the U.S. under the Biden administration.
Perez was arrested alongside an associate named Rene Escobar Ochoa, who had a red notice from Interpol out on him when he came across the border. The Department of Homeland Security reacting in a statement saying, quote, the Biden administration allowed 2 ringleaders of MS-13, one of the most violent gangs in the world, come straight into our country. One of these depraved aliens is on El Salvador's 100 most wanted fugitives list and is wanted for 5 counts of murder. The other has an Interpol notice for drug trafficking. These are the kinds of scumbags sanctuary politicians are protecting and letting walk free on America's streets.
Wow. This monster was on El Salvador's 100 most wanted list for 5 murders. Not 1. Not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 murders. And under Biden, he crossed our border and lived free in Nebraska. And the media stayed silent like they would. The Democrats always shrug something like this over. It was ICE, the same agency they called terrorists, who finally caught him. They don't want ICE gone because ICE is somehow wrong. They want ICE gone because ICE exposed the cost of their open border laws. And now, the left has a new villain. Companies are working with ICE. Watch this boycott insanity.
So I have another list of companies that's working with ICE through the image program, and the image program is basically how they're finding these people at their jobs. That's what it is. 7-Eleven, New York locations, Costco, Amazon. It's Amazon days. Go cancel all that shit. Don't buy shit from them people. They're not even for real deals. Cancel that shit. Make them feel it. The fuck? Starbucks, no surprise, they're funding a genocide. McDonald's, also no surprise, they're helping fund the genocide. PC Automated Controls, Mirador Enterprise, El Paso Staffing, El Paso Trade School, Utility Concrete Products LLC, Stormtrap LLC, Wright Construction Services, they're in Missouri, Simpsons Unlimited, they're based in Virginia, Pekin Construction, they're based in Phoenix. The last 5 is all construction companies that I named. Cancel all that shit. Everybody needs to be boycotted. I don't care. Devalue down to nothing. The 99% control this shit. No way. And I got every last one of these names off of the ICE website. Go fact check me if you would like.
So they're not just boycotting companies, they're trying to financially punish anybody who helps ICE enforce the law. Amazon, Starbucks, McDonald's. Now, we definitely have our differences with these companies for sure, but this ain't activism. This is economic warfare against the rule of law. That's what this really is. That's what she's displaying. And it's spreading. You know, because the left has convinced people that ICE is evil for checking legal status. And why they attack ICE? More Americans are waking up. This post comes with, I voted for this. Now, this clip might be 19 seconds and I ain't playing the audio, but it speaks volumes. These are ICE. This is ICE agents detaining illegals at a gas station. The average American is done pretending illegal immigration isn't a crisis. I voted for this. You voted for this, right? Because when the laws get ignored, I mean, chaos fills the vacuum, and ICE is one of the last barriers holding the line. And that chaos, it's now hitting college campuses. Trust me, you won't believe this.
State LA has decided to allow their classes to move online amid student concerns over the ongoing immigration raids. Leaders at the university say that professors can now arrange for more excused absences and alternative makeup work after students have expressed fear of commuting to school and taking public transportation. Faculty also have the option of working remotely now. There have been no reported raids on the campus. It's unclear if the majority of classes will be online when the fall semester begins, which is next. State LA has decided.
Wow. So they move classes online because of ICE raids. No ICE on campus, no threat. Just fair propaganda pumped into students' heads by professors who care more about ideology than reality. Imagine being so scared of law enforcement. Okay. And who's behind the curtain? Democrat mayors. Karen Bay says it out loud, y'all.
I am here today to sign an executive directive, and I just want to point out the irony for a minute, that there is a need for me to have an executive directive to help our city understand how to protect itself from our federal government. Just let that sink in for a minute. What we have seen here over the last now going on 6 weeks of raids that pop up and we never know exactly when and where they're going to happen. We've seen them in the general region. I'm sure many people saw Camarillo yesterday and what broke out there. We saw MacArthur Park earlier this week, which I think now, after all assessments, it is viewed as just a display of force, just to put the city in its place, to say we are the federal government, we can roll out troops whenever we choose. So the executive directive that I will be signing in a few minutes is to help the city family, to help the city workforce, to help the city departments and all of the general managers essentially develop preparedness plans that have specific protocols and that help city workers know how to address immigration officials should they approach a city department. How we abide by the law, but we understand what our rights are as city employees, how we can provide protection for immigrants who might be attending a city event or at a city property, but we stay within the law.
So you're the mayor of an American city, and your goal is to protect your city from the federal government. That's not leadership, y'all. That's far from it. That's insurrection by policy. They're not upholding the Constitution. They're actively undermining it. And the worst part, they're proud of it. And if you think that's extreme, wait until you see what her directive actually just said.
We have another big immigration update from the city of Los Angeles. Mayor Karen Bass just signed an executive directive that does 4 things. And a reminder, this is happening at the same time that the city of LA is suing the Trump administration for the ongoing immigration enforcement that's happening here. So let's get into it. First, every single city of LA department has 2 weeks to create and implement a preparedness plan that tells city employees what to do, what their rights are if federal agents come to any city building or facility. Second, there's going to be a new working group with LAPD, the mayor's office, and immigrants' rights organizations, essentially to inform LAPD police officers on what to do and what's really happening when they're responding to immigration enforcement calls. Third, and this is a really big one, the city of LA is filing a Freedom of Information Act request with the federal government. And essentially what it is, they're asking the federal government, they're essentially demanding, saying you need to release every single name of every single person who has been detained here in the city of LA over the past month since these raids all began. They're asking for names, where these people are being held, why they were detained or arrested in the first place. They're also asking for the federal government to release the policy of why so many of these agents have been seen wearing masks, essentially concealing their identity, and why many of them haven't been making their identification clear. Either their badge or their ID card, oftentimes the mayor says, has been concealed. And the fourth thing, the city is going to work with their departments to better give out information in multiple languages to families who have been impacted by this, to families who have had a loved one taken or detained or deported.
So, 4 demands: block ICE from city buildings, from anti-ICE police alliances, demand identities of federal agents, and translate anti-enforcement propaganda in multiple languages. This isn't about immigrants, y'all. I tell y'all all the time, what is it about? Control. Control the narrative, control the streets, control you. And ICE, it's just a scapegoat they're using to burn the Constitution in real time. I keep saying, they say ICE is the threat. But look around. Look around. It's the policies that protect these criminals. It's the city shielding these predators. It's the politicians fighting federal law while letting Americans suffer. Team think we see through the laws. We do. And I ain't going to flinch to call it out. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Have an enjoyable, is that a word? Enjoyable weekend. Be safe.